Welcome to this episode of River Reboot. It's been 14 and a half months since we planted our oysters. They were about big as our pinky fingernails. I know it's been a long time since we've had an update, so we want to show you. First, we've went out and we've grabbed the diploids, and we want to take a look at them and show you what's in there with them. We got shrimp, we got minnows, we got worms. Let's see how big they are. If you're eating shrimp, if you're eating oysters in a restaurant, these are the kinds you're going to get. It's the diploids. They do not reproduce, but they're supposed to grow faster. Let's see what they look like at 14 and a half months. Water's pretty clear today. I wonder how big they've gotten. I'm a little spoiler. I did have to separate some out or they wouldn't have all fit in here still. So let's see what we got when we get over here on the bank. Okay, let's take a look. You notice we got some barnacles. We got some pine tags, pine cones. You're supposed to try to keep this stuff clean if you can. Oysters need what? They need good flow to grow. But they're really pretty much, you can plant them and leave them alone. You just gotta, once in a while, clean them off. So let's pull them out and see what we got here. And already before we can even get the bag open, get the zip ties off to get to the oysters, look at this little crab we got already. Now he will pinch you, watch out, whoa. Isn't that neat? We got shrimp, we got crabs, we got minnows. It's so interesting what God has made, his creation. So anyway, but crabs are bad when they get in your oysters because we like to get them and eat them in the oyster, but they'll get in there and eat the oysters when they're young and they can get into the shell pretty easy. So really they're not a good thing, but hey, pretty neat. Okay, let's pour these babies out and see what we got. There, we got them open. All right. Here we go. Got some pretty nice oysters. They're big enough they would go to market. You'd buy those in the store if you were eating them. That's a pretty nice size right here. They're pretty uniform. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's all kind of little bugs and worms and all kind of stuff. Where's all my minnows? They came out already? More crabs. We actually have some bloodworms in here, different types of worms. Can you see that? Okay, you can probably see that bloodworm. That's a bloodworm. See his little hairy things, I forgot what you call on his sides. What would they be worth if we had a dozen of those babies? That's pretty neat, isn't it? See him? Right here we have a shrimp. Watch, he'll jump out of my hand. It's a whole smorgasbord of activity. I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you zoom in on him? Mm-hmm. Little baby shrimp. So we're gonna throw him back so we don't die. Okay, we're gonna divide these, the ones we want to eat and the ones that still need to grow. So in 14 and a half months, I can say that you have oysters that are big enough to eat. A lot of them are still too small. There's no minnows in here because they're not in the creek this time of year yet. The water's still too cold evidently. Because when I pull them out and look at them at other times of year, it's full of minnows in my trap here. I'm not in my trap, but in my cage. So we're gonna pull some other oysters out. We'll look at those that I got from somebody else. So I really can't time those for you, but I wanna show you a different system I got other than what this float is right here. See this float? That's what these grew in, but I got some cages that sit like chest of drawers, and we'll look at that in just a second. Okay, I want you to know this was 14 and a half months growing. We had them from this size. They were big as my pinky fingernail. So they grew from that to that in 14 and a half months, and some were this size in 14 and a half months. These are the same ones. Some grew at a faster rate. Of course, if I would have kept my baskets cleaner, made sure to keep the barnacles out and rotate them and work them like I should, I'd have a little better product. But I basically did nothing with these, only checked on them like once or twice and fixed them from some storms, but it's a great thing the way you can grow them so easy. They are pretty easy to grow. Okay, I have some other cages that I picked up after I started growing them. So these were the same time, but some of them I can't tell because I bought them from another guy who was getting out of messing with them. So I got these cages and it holds 6 bags. So we'll see what we got here, see what kind of growth we have. And what you do is, they see it set on these feet. You just flip it up. And then you work the shelves. As you can see, a lazy oyster man needs to clean his pens in his bags to get all this growth off to keep water flow at a premium. So I need to do that. But today I'm just separating the oysters by size of the ones I want to eat, because we're having a oyster food party. So we want to get the ones I want to eat and then let the others grow. So I'm going to separate these and we'll see what we got. And you just open it, and then you want to pull your bags out and check the size of your oysters. So that's what we're going to do now, see what we have here. Like I said, see if we have enough to add to our little meal we're going to have our party. All right, we got some nice oysters right here. Some nice eating size ones. But like I said, some of these were already growing when I got them from somebody else I bought the cage from used. All right, we got a nice little crab here. He's hiding in this little bit of oyster shell with some water. There's some cool looking little dudes right there. I just had to show you him. Oh, can you see him? See if he try to bite you. Ooh. There's a little baby one. I'm pretty sure that's a speckled trout. Look, it's a menhaden.
I just grabbed the thing.
Yeah, hold him up, hold him up.
Check it out, I just grabbed him.
Oh, why you got it on ×6? You been zooming in?
Yeah, I've been zooming in.
All right, yeah, good deal. That's a fatback. Throw him back in there.
I want to help hang out with him for a little bit longer.
Well, no, he's weak. That's why he was up here in the shadow. Give him a good little pitch so he goes on. Okay, you can see these are the diploid oysters. These are the ones that reproduce. I'm going to show you, the size of my thumbnail. Some of these smallest ones are very small, but some of the bigger ones are as big, if not bigger than the triploids that I have that do not reproduce. But if you look into this cage that we have them here, this Taylor float, a lot of these are very good shape. They're all about the same size. To me, they don't grow that much slower than the triploid. So, if you want something to reproduce, these aren't bad for 14.5 months, if you ask me. They're pretty, all about the same size, pretty uniform. Okay, we hope you liked our video on oyster farming. Eric's oysters over here on his dock in a Taylor float, they really look nice and uniform. He would probably tell me, well, John, because I got better water than you do, even though I'm closer to the bait than he is. But I'm impressed. These diploids, the ones that reproduce, have really grown quicker than I thought they would. They really look nice. If you like our video, please hit like and subscribe and support our channel.
Mid-Atlantic Source One. One source for all your communication needs. Hey, if your communication's down, don't panic. Just call Mid-Atlantic Source One.